Hey guys, so welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's carry on where we left off, which unfortunately is looking more and more like a slippery slope leading towards a guilty verdict. Given this definitive proof right before our very eyes, it's Gina Lestrade wielding the murder weapon at 1 o'clock in the morning while Mr. Windibank was still alive and he looks terrified as shit. So, I mean, I don't think this could get any worse. I don't even know how we're going to get out of this. To be perfectly honest, I can only dream of some kind of bluff that we could spit out to the court. Let's let the judge catch his breath for a second. Good lord. It's the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Yeah, we're not playing Where's Waldo here. She's right in the, well, not exactly the middle of the picture, but she's pretty clearly visible. Same with the victim. It is not looking good. Those two jokesters on the witness stand are looking like saints in comparison, as the court can clearly see. Clearly, yes, you're not wrong. The accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter. The only silver lining is the fact that she is not aiming the gun at him. She's just holding it. Though her finger's on the trigger, that's not good trigger discipline. No doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Quite. One can only so easily imagine the events that unfolded. I'm surprised the jury hasn't just gobbled this all up by now, you know? The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel. Oh god, we have to put it into the court record? I don't think I can bear looking at it again. But I suppose I should. A photograph taken automatically by the red-handed recorder, showing the scene a short time before the murder took place. Why does it have to be half an hour in between? Ugh. I feel you, Rianosuke. I feel you. I've been in this situation before, feeling cornered. Unfortunately, it was 100 years later, with your, distant descendant. Okay, on its own, there's obviously not a lot to glean from it. We do have the picture of a cat on the table still. Mr. Windibank obviously looking shocked. But until we have a comparative photo at 1:30 a.m., unfortunately, this kind of means nothing right now. So let's progress.
I don't believe it. Ginny!
In short, the accused is the only person who could have possibly killed Mr. Windibank. Ah! Oh! Not only did he shoot my case in the heart, he shot me too. I say, my lord. Who's that? Yeah, I thought it would be one of the jury members. It's too early for Herlock-Sholmes to make a heroic entrance. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwand, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Unless that maid is scrubbing it, I assume. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Stop wasting the court's time. Carried on to the battle after retirement, you see. Battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron. 6 men, all good and true. And we'll all go down together, you mark my words. One for all, and all for one. Okay, alright, this is not a battlefield, sir. I mean, some might argue, given the dramatic flair that surrounds the courtroom at times in an Ace Attorney game. Van Zix is just like, oh, might as well pour one out while I listen to this monologue. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? Well, in a manner of speaking, yes. That is the Garradeb Squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. Status report for the court, men. On the double.
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions too.
I think you'll find the truth as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. Oh dear. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. God.
Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop.
This guy. I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. Okay, thank you. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. I can only hope that juror number 6 just doesn't comprehend what's going on and just sits there, while everyone stares at him waiting for him to declare a guilty verdict. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Here we go.
Guilty.
Guilty.
There we are.
Guilty.
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 How dare you? I'm gonna oust you. I know your true identity, sir. Well, we've been here before. This ain't even scary anymore. It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already. That photograph. It's a killer. It's a killer one. It must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned.
But Ginny didn't shoot him.
No, of course not. She shot the ceiling, given the angle of the gun on this photograph. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, like we always do. We're that annoying board game player that always is a rules lawyer of sorts. Although this time we're an actual lawyer. Very well. The court grants permission. Do you have faith in the jurors, Van Zeeks, that they won't change their mind this time? So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. Hey, well, last time, I actually defended an innocent victim. We will forget about case 3. We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Here we go again. It's my understanding that the old man and juror number 6 have no idea what's going on. Juror number 2 is just, like, trying to expedite things. Juror number 5 takes this way too seriously. And juror number 3 is just a happy-go-lucky guy. And juror number 1 just thinks he's still in the war. He's got PTSD. The juror's contentions. All evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketee.
As a housemaid, I should like to see old filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated.
I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. If I have left it in there, I should think there will be repercussions by now. This guy's like Mr. Bean from the Bean movie. He left a bullet in some guy's body.
Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop.
In Motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. We're not even... Who cares about the brothers? The circumstance of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom, locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. You'd have to be a complete muppet, a tosser, to not declare guilty at this point. Do not change your mind, ladies and gentlemen, or I will call you out once more. And in the accused's hand, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses. Not to mention, this print. It's this photograph. It's killing me. Taken from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That young girl's on the verge of pulling the body trigger. Yeah, well, I mean, given the way the photo looks, it looks like she has pulled the trigger. Her fingers, like, squeezed it right up to the edge. Thanks a lot, Mr. Shelves.
Oh dear. Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder.
Yeah, well, shit. I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. Thanks, does that mean you're in my corner, Judge? But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterback. I think. Which means there's more to the situation than we've yet to see. Where's the other photograph? I demand the 130 photo.
Agreed.
You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. I don't know how this is going to go without Susato. Let's do our best. That's all we can do. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Where the hell do we even begin? There's nothing outright obvious from the get-go. We're going to need a press. Well, let's start with the person who's actually mentioned the photograph, juror number 3, saying that the truth will just pop out if we look at it in stereo.
Hold it!
What do you mean, look at the photograph in stereo? You mean we need to listen to it? Sorry? What?
Don't you know? If you look at the photographic print normally...
Yeah? It looks as though the pickpocket girl's about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection!
But there's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. Okay, so you want me to cross my eyes and look at it, huh? How do you think I'm going to look? In front of the gallery? Van Zeeks? The judge? We saw what Susato looked like, and it wasn't pleasant. Same with Iris. By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes? Oh, how did you know? I don't know. I mean, it's written all over your face. Let's call it a lucky guess. It never gets old seeing the two prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary. It's captivating. It's the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find that the stereoscope is here to stay. Giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. You can tell stereoscopes are going to be very important. They've just hammered this point during the investigation. Now we've got a juror who just happens to be good at stereoscopes. If only it could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you. Okay, well, while juror number 4's mind's elsewhere, let's reel him back in. Let's press. What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere, or something like that. Ah, so sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon? That totally passed me by. No lucky guess this time. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So, what is it that you think you've left behind? Your golden years? Oh, well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. Standard thing, went in through the abdomen. But when I'd finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. Don't tell me you were operating on Sholmes. What? Did he? Surely not. Exactly. Surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern. And seeing as this case appears to be all but sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure. Well, that wasn't a good reason at all. I'm getting nowhere here. Alright, you. I'm gonna press you now. Tell me. Please tell me you're not Villain Bolshevik. The Russian revolutionary.
Revolutionary?
Who that? I don't know. I am Villain Bolshevik. Duh. I believe there is such a rumor. It's just a rumor. As you'll see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like vicious criminal. Your words, not mine. I just wanted to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat.
And which glove fits?
Translate. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. He's still repeating the same phrase. Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts. It sounds like a passphrase you'll say to someone and then they reply with another one. And then you get the goods. To be treated like vicious criminal all the time. It is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. The Skulkin brothers? Yeah, they look shady as hell. Duh. Maybe they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is all I want to say. The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night. Alright, well first of all, that's one not-so-little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris.
What is it, Rene?
The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Are you sure? Are you absolutely certain?
Yes. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing how fate works. In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? That is a good point. We were, she did say that London citizens, right? What's this guy doing here?
I wish I knew.
Cool. If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over.
But we know that Ginny would never shoot anyone.
Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and put them against each other. I must be ready to go to whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. Okay, our Russian revolutionary friend thinks the Skulkin brothers are innocent. Juror number 2 is talking about scrubbing away all filthy eyesores. Surely she has something to say about them. And then hopefully we can pit them against each other. Polishing the bench, I see. Again.
Maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain.
What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? Are you judging them by their covers?
On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pick-pursers and crossmen, the scum of the earth.
A little harsh, perhaps?
Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicated.
Okay, right. Well, thank you for transforming London.
At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals.
You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Is he a charitable sort, is he?
That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Runst magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London's streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital.
Okay, well, you know, he's got the equivalent of dusting, but then he doesn't sweep up the dust because I have to step in and do that for him. Mr. Sholmes, a maid, please, I don't want to imagine it.
It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective.
Oh, who was the gutter scum that shot our very great detective? Minor detail, it was the 2 brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant.
A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned.
Well, just might be an idea to get our facts straight anyway.
Yes, alright. I shall amend my statement.
Thank you. Just what I needed.
Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the great detective.
Pick. Go.
Objection!
Fight. My underlings. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. Good lord. Counsel, explain yourself.
Oh my statement? Contradictory? You just made me change it. You're doing your little Eastern black magic again, aren't you?
Contradict? C-O-N... No, not Crystal Tower. Contradict. Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick. I have mouse. Okay, that's good to know. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver.
Yes, they shot poor Mr. James in the abdomen, I understand.
Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. I'm totally not smiling because Herlock Sholmes got shot. I'm smiling because I got you cornered. I promise. He's still trying to look up... contradict. Abdomen. A-B-D... Sir. Sorry. My English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear? Great. Forgive me. I did not hear. Ugh. Ah, here is word. Abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. What is stomach? We're gonna go down a rabbit hole if he has to look up every word. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English, I am Russian, not native speaker. Who thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again? Seriously, who the hell organized this? So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before, we never done nothing. But truth is, they shot detective. This is double negative. Yes, yes, that's exactly right. Oh my god, yes, you're a champion now. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means rat must die now. When they said, we never took nothing, maybe it was also big fat lie, huh? Huh? Is this true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now! Not even Mouse! Okay, it's not the mouse's fault though, sir, please. I don't want to see a homicide in here. Although, it's not technically a homicide because it's not a human. I must see with own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself. Crime scene Crystal Tower? I'm afraid that won't be
Yes, it is, Rune. Easily.
Sorry?
With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder.
Ah.
If you compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not.
Finally! Someone's brought it up.
Gooey! Mr. Prosecutor!
Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. This was my drink break. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Yes, it's in the court record, I know, thank you. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot rung out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. We're not talking about the Wright brothers, are we? Okay.
So this was taken after Hurley was shot then?
Anything different? Okay, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's different is the lamp's broken, which we saw when we were at the scene. That's unfortunate. We're gonna need to look at the other prints, because there are multiple cameras, right? This is a insufficient angle.
As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken.
That does seem to be the case. Can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. Damn, after I poured my own eyes over the photograph for like 5 minutes, I could have just advanced the text and had Ryunosuke tell me. So, the brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot men, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. Okay. I guess breaking the law once is okay. Twice is a no-go. No, not good! You were right. I did not understood situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial. There we go. Just like that. Now we know the brothers have lied.
Yay! Well done, Rune. The balance is shifting.
Well, it's a start, I suppose. It's just one so far. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I could do that, we just might turn the situation into our favor still. Thank you, counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. Excellent. Post-shooting photograph showing the scene after the murder had taken place. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. I wonder indeed. Stereoscope back! Okay, it doesn't look like there's any way to present evidence to the man, so I don't think we can use him to look at the two photographic prints. Let's go back to juror number 1, press him, and then we've got juror number 5 left as well. You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Garrett, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this. How's your wife? Oh, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. You only just recognizing me? Come on, man. I stick out like a sore thumb in London. Yes, a rather turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. So now you owe me a favor. How about going for a not guilty verdict, eh? I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? He's actually going for the angle. And I know you were chosen at random, so I'm going to thank my lucky stars. And yes, God wants me to win this case, so he's put you destined to serve as a juror in this particular case. I mean, obviously. I wouldn't be suggesting that, therefore, you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything. Right, yeah, you know, some person's life at stake here, yeah. Can't be denied, I suppose. The curse of the Garrett House was the talk of the town after that business. Lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies. Oh, I ruined your life, did I? Haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Well, at least she's not dead. Yes, can't be denied. You did do rather a lot. But not for us, that's for dashed certain. I suppose not. Of course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning toward guilty here, obviously. Obviously. But honestly. I really wish you'd pay more attention to the trial and less to juror number 2. Okay, juror number 5, it's up to you.
Hold it!
Give me something. Anything. I've only got one juror convinced. This is not looking good. Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean?
Are you from the Far East? Stop.
Yes, from the Empire of Japan. I'm sure we've discussed this earlier. In case 3.
All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers will take more than a month to complete their journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world.
Thousands of miles of cable? On the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt just thinking about it. It's amazing what we were able to accomplish 100 years ago. Imagine what we're going to accomplish 100 years from now.
You're well informed, young lady. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop.
And just when I was starting to catch up.
Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried over airwaves to 4 corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop.
Oh my god, please calm down. Put that hand down. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Okay, alright, Ryunosuke, please. There's no need for this kind of crude language.
Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter piffle.
Okay, there we go. We'll get them to fight.
I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Calm down. Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's lost remark? You know, you want to punch her in the face? No, I don't condone that. As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. I double dare you. Say it to my freaking face, lady.
Goodness, are you talking to me? I'll telegram it to you.
I think he just might be, yes.
You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh? Absolutely. I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions. Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional.
What a great way to appease the man.
No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all.
Please, don't take a book out of Mrs. Garrett's... Don't take a page out of Mrs. Garrett's book, sorry, and start throwing knives.
You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities.
I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene, for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, oh, it just so happens I do. Thankfully, we've found a way to present them to you. It could reveal hidden clues you'd never even noticed before. What?
Have you got any, Rene? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope?
Absolutely. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. This one?
Take that!
Yeah, take that, stereoscope man. Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate, and then I'll be in your corner forever. I promise. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. So I presented the first one. Let's present the second one.
Take that!
Alright, these 2 prints were both taken with the same camera and window banks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer, Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Yes. Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. Just need to cross our eyes. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Oh. Then when your brain merges the two images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Yes, exactly!
It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important.
So, what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyway. Yeah, it would just be a layer on top of a layer, right? That's exactly the same.
Hey! Ooh! Of course, now I see. Ah, I think the young girl has discovered the secret. I have!
Oh god, no, please, can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Please.
Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on.
Okay. I'll do it.
Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them?
Of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second.
Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions.
Alright, I'll give it a go. So to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the two pictures overlap exactly. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens from each photograph overlap in the middle. Wait, what? Please do it for me, I can't cross my eyes.
Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo?
Not really. Let me try it. I'm just not very good at this, that's the trouble.
Oh, don't worry. I have just the thing.
Thank God.
I happen to bring it with me. Portable stereoscope.
I know I mentioned this yesterday, but if you've had that contraption with you from the outset, you could have saved me staring at Mr. Winterberg and Gina like I hate them all the time.
And if you remember, I said in reply that it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Anyway, why don't we try using this helpful little aid now?
Thank you. I am terrible at crossing my eyes.
Here goes.
Whoa. Okay. Now, let's see what we've got. Wait, look at that! Yeah, look at it! Look at what? Ugh! What's going on with these two pictures? Oh, of course. Some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. I get it, right, because if you put two images that are the same on top of each other, there's nothing different, but if there's a slight difference, ever so slight, it'll appear three-dimensional. So we're saying that these were tampered with somehow. These objects here, so maybe there was a nudge, like a bump, someone bumped into them? Oh god, thank you, Betsy. He's a man of taste. He's a classy man.
Yes, that's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes.
Other amazing power? Thank God you're on the jury, sir. I get lucky once again. Is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of these things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that, eh?
I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope,
you'll start laying a deuce yourself, sir. And you'll answer your own question.
Basic principles of the stereoscope?
As I said before, you nitwit, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions.
Yes, there must have been.
Interesting. Okay, but what does this get me? Now hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp of this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does this shift between two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master. No, I'm not. I needed a stereoscope for that. What, me? I haven't the first idea.
You know, Reno, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means...
That means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Zookas! Someone tampered!
New information. Stop. Not mentioned in testimony so far. Stop.
Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved. But by whom? I mean, you could just say, well, Gina obviously didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank there at the table. She escorted him to the back room. She probably knocked the books by accident on the way. Are you suggesting you might know? Of course. I can tell you right now who was responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. Yes, I will tell you. If I have to prove Gina's innocence, I have to say Nash Skulkin, right? One of the Skulkin brothers.
Take that!
It's my only way out. It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers. Wait, this does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrase book says dukes is meaning hands, and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. Why not just say pockets? It's fewer syllables. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Liar, liar, pants on fire, the both of them. Now, hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that.
I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all.
Exactly. I mean, how could I prove this?
It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal.
I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Winterbank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interests lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony.
But the accused is a pick purse. Common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here?
I mean, I won't lie. This feels kind of weak. Like, you know, it could have been Mr. Winterbank accidentally bumped it because he's such a wide man, you know? I guess we're just assuming that someone's rifled through the desk looking for something when, you know, it's just an imperceptible shift. It easily could have just been nudged by someone, right? On the way to the storeroom. Anyway, I'll take it. I'll take it. If the jury's convinced, I've got him. I got him. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. We're taking it all the way. Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better. In fact, worse than a pick purse. Huh. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? I mean, if there was more of a difference on the disc, then yeah, you could claim that someone was rifling through it. I mean, we've got a broken lamp, for goodness sake. Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair. Here we go. Oh, God. He has to use his hand. He doesn't want to use his hands. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes are playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand. So I have. Thank you for being on the jury, Mr. Stereoscope Man.
Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. We'll return home via Regent Street. Stop.
Okay, we've convinced her. Excellent. A few more stereoscope sales about to come through. Well, it would seem this trial has yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. And I order this trial to continue. Van Zieks, please don't throw your liquor at the flames again.
Yay, well done. Oh, by the way,
What?
you should hold on to this, Reno. You never know when it might come in useful.
Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely. But alright. The stereoscope has been entered into the court record, a fold-up device that allows anybody to enjoy seeing things in 3 dimensions simply by looking through the eyepieces. I'm wondering, seeing as stereoscopes seem to be very important right now, whether this is the mystery box that our good friend Mr. McGilded wanted all along. We can examine it fully.
You have to pop your 2 prints in here to start with, you see.
And then, when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the image in 3 dimensions.
The important thing to get right is the position of the 2 prints.
I don't know who came up with the idea of a stereoscope, but it's really quite fascinating. It sure is. Okay, popped it open. Ooh, look at that. It's totally changed shape just from one little button press.
Well, that is what the button's for, Reno. You're just like Hurley. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what they do.
Yeah, well, Susato used to like pressing my buttons. Unfortunately, she's departed for Japan now. No, she hasn't. But that's what we think. Us boys. Says the 10-year-old girl.
Anyway, now you can see that it really is a stereoscope, can't you?
Lord Van Zeeks. You will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, here it comes. Get the fire extinguisher ready. The Reaper of the Bailey is about to set fire to the place once more. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. Ooh. I guess even he was impressed by the stereoscopic image. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. I'll probe them all day long if I have to, before they get probed in prison. God damn it, I need answers. To be continued.